a lot of pride in their jobs. There's, you know, when you look at how they assemble the car, neat. You know, the human touch.
People such as Herman Wofford has been doing this for 28 years.
It just pumps you up, you know, even if you see commercials on television with the Corvette on it, you know that your hand has been on this. That's the unique part about building a Corvette. We the only somebody build them. So if you see it advertised on television or Michael Jordan driving something like that, you know that your hand's been on it, you know. So then you get a big thrill out of that.
A lot of people build the car, have been building the car a long time.
Okay, now that's really fascinating to see. Mike has to just tell people about it.
They're dropping the rear end down. It's 1 unit away from the engine going in it.
The engine is slowly heading to the body as Donna puts in the alternator. Chuck is putting in the gas tank as the body is moving overhead on its slow trip to that predestined meeting with the engine. Chuck is working on the car that he dreamed of as a kid.
Ever since I've been young, that's a car that everybody looks up to, and so it's a fun experience to be able to work on.
It will be amazing how the engine and the body are a mile of track apart, and yet they will meet at one precise moment. The excitement mounts. Employees give Mike a thrill by asking the Corvette expert for autographs.
Today, the plant workers wanting my autograph was pretty, you know, I had to contain myself from just kind of smiling and saying, gee, this is fun.
And then the moment is here. The top meets the bottom. From now on, this won't be a chassis and a body. This will be an automobile. This will be that last C4. The skilled UAW workers take on a new guide to relish in the moment.
I put the shock absorbers on the car, the right side. Now, if they fall off, it's my fault. I guess you look at significant things in your life, perhaps your wedding, birth of children, and there it is, the birth of your Corvette. I mean, they're put together. It was born. Nifty.
Empty trolleys followed the last C4. It's been well over a decade since there were no more on order. And the car moves overhead, looking like a UFO as more workers add parts.
It was one of the best cars we ever built.
It wasn't exactly a build-your-own deal, but Mike got to put on the tires. Now some Corvette trivia here. Mike's last C4 was a coupe. How many cars ahead was the last convertible? Well, you're going to have to ask Mike for the answer. We will tell you, though, it was white with a gray interior. By noon now, Mike's car was indeed a car, and most of the line had been torn out and cleaned up. It was nearly impossible to tell that a car was ever built here. Now here's another piece of trivia. General Motors gives you 6 gallons of gas to get going.
6 gallons, that would take you back home, won't it?
Yeah, at the speeds I drive, of course it would.
By the way, it does look like Mike may have even gotten a little extra squirt. Now, most workers are enthusiastic about Corvettes, but then we come to Mr. Ernest Foote. He is mega enthusiastic about these cars. He is the one who will prepare the car for its first start. Yep, there are the keys.
There you go. Don't give it no gas.
Okay,
Like that.
just-
Turn the ignition out. Okay.
We are almost through. There is but one car left. There is one more task. Oops, the hood is a little off. Okay, a little adjustment, and it closes. Well, it closes like a Corvette hood should. And that's how Mike's C4 was made. And that's why that June day of 1996 would be famous around Bowling Green. But like any new birth, Mike's C4 had to spend the night here. It had to be tested, aligned, and aligned. And then it had to face a tropical rainstorm, flood, and a car wash.
You go to a dealer showroom, a car is done. But you come here and see it be built, you see it's built by people, you know, the heart and soul of America. To me, the Corvette is red, white, and blue in America, and you go out in that plant and see the men and women building the car, and that's America's sports car.
This is not the end of the story of Mike's car. No, we wouldn't just leave you with it here at the factory. Mike and the engineers at Corvette had a few ideas for this car. Well, it's not that it really needed detailing with 7 whole miles on it, but remembering that this last C4 would inherit the best from earlier generations, how about some red stripes? the kind you got on the Grand Sport of 1963. And fender flares, also from the tradition of the Grand Sport. And sure, some wide white wheels. They're from the tradition of the ZR1. It's a Corvette's Corvette. And Mid-America Design's Tom Chrisman added a label. Not that this car would get lost in a crowd of cars. And the car got a license plate. Mike made his own plate. Now, we aren't quite sure you should do this at home. That is, put on homemade plates. Although that wasn't the reason that the police would soon follow Mike through Bowling Green. It is because the last C4 would probably get its last big ride. It would go to the National Corvette Museum, where Mike would present it to the world of Corvette lovers as a traveling museum piece. You can't just drive the car home. You have to have a couple hundred of your friends over to show them the new car. The National Corvette Museum is the place to show a museum piece. And because the Corvette is as American as apple pie and these ham sandwiches, it all seemed a swell party was in order. Yeah, great hors d'oeuvres. The first Corvette C4 was invited, and the press waited for the last C4.
Four generations of the Corvette. From a small shop in Flint, Michigan in 1953 to St. Louis, Missouri, and 15 years ago to Bowling Green, Kentucky. The last of the C4 has been made in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Now therefore, I, Eldon J. Renault, Mayor of the City of Bowling Green, do hereby proclaim the importance and significance of the purchase of the last of the legendary C4 Corvette by Michael D. Yeager, and express appreciation for him for his contribution to Corvette history.
With that, the car arrived with the flair that was given to the first one when it was introduced 4 Corvette generations ago. The photographers took their first pictures of the newest American classic. Plant manager Will Cooksey said that they were looking at an engineering marvel.
We've got probably some of the most sophisticated electronics on the Corvette that the world has ever known, probably very similar to what you might find in the F-18 jet fighter.
UAW Union President Billy Jackson agreed with management that this was a darn good car.
I truly appreciate the enthusiasm that surrounded this Corvette. You know, it's our livelihoods, and on behalf of Local 2164 membership, I say a hearty thank you to each and every one of you. And as long as the enthusiasm, like I see today, is there, I feel each and every one of us will have jobs tomorrow.
I've had Corvettes since 1970, have been through the plant many times watching my new car being built, but watching this is absolutely the highlight of my life.
Have you ever seen Mike as happy as he is today?
Our wedding day? No. Sure. Well, I don't know. This is a good day.
And what did the kids like? Of course, the names on the bottom of the car.
Funky names like Hot Dog, Davenport.
Davenport hot dog, huh?
Hot Dog.
Hot dog, right under there.
Davenport's right over here.
And Mike had them add a few more names to the hood of the car. The engine, it was signed by Chevrolet's old friend and former boss, Jim Perkins.
You kind of believe the car's going to go on forever.
You hope so.
I know it will.
And that is the story of June 21st, 1996, the day the last C4 Corvette became Mike's car. And the Mid-America Designs family had a new member that grew up in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'm Craig Worth.